Thank you so much for being here to honor and remember Jim and his incredible life, and to bless and encourage the family. And since he was a member of the military, we're going to begin with an introduction of the Honor Guard and military honors. Gentlemen.
States, the United States Army, and a grateful nation. Please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your loved one's honorable and faithful service.
On behalf of the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs, please accept this coin as a token of appreciation for your loved one's service and dedication to our country. It is given in honor of all veterans, and that he will now be with all veterans.
Thank you again for being here. The family asked me to share a few brief words, and we won't be long, but on these occasions, it is important to remember and think about someone's life and the blessings and benefits of it, and their meaning to us. And right off the top, we talk about eulogies, and I like to combine, I'm not going to preach a message, but I like to combine events from people's lives with life lessons, and I want to do that today. It's interesting that the word eulogy means a good word, and one of my first admonitions at services like this is don't wait till someone is gone to share a good word with them. Tell people what they mean to you. Say I love you often enough. Point out the good things, the blessings of life. I will say this right up front. It was my privilege to know Jim for a bunch of years. I've known Brian even longer. My daughter and Brian were in the military together and spent maneuvers at Fort McCoy and did a tour in Iraq. And so there is a history. I could tell you enough stories about Jim. I could tell you even more stories about Brian. But I want to share a few of those and lessons from that. We'll begin with thinking that life is a journey, and I want to share a psalm, and then Brian's going to share some words. Psalm 23 pictures a shepherd and his sheep going from a winter home down in the valley up to a summer home on the mountaintop, and then the journey back down. And God is pictured as a shepherd in life's journey, and he is, and that was important to Jim. But it says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, or I don't need anything else. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And yes, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Surely or certainly goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Brian's going to share some thoughts at this time.
I wrote something for my dad, and you know me, not to want to do the same homework twice. I actually wrote this when I was about 9 years old, so it stands today, you know, as true as it ever did. So it's probably 1981, I think, when I wrote this, and it says, "I'm proud of my dad," by Brian Worthing. I'm proud of my dad because of the great things he does. He's a hard worker and knows a lot about different jobs. He's managed stores, driven trucks and tractors, flown airplanes, built cars and oil rigs, operated cranes, and is a switchman at the railroad. Whatever it is he does, he does it good. He is good at sports, he's good at softball, and helped our church win first place. He's also a skin diver and a very good skier and scuba instructor. His many hobbies are flying and mom. It was back then. I like the way he loves me and teaches me right from wrong. Sometimes he uses punishment, but mostly he gives me love. He also learned to be a great cook, and he's even learned to do laundry. He always does what is necessary. He's not perfect, but he's a great guy, and I'm proud of him. Yeah, I was a kid when I wrote that, and Dad's entire life, he was just always, I guess the best way to describe him is like Mom said, he was an Eagle Scout. He always did what was right. Even got an old folder with a floppy disk on it. Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. That's very special. Your dad is very special. As we think about some life lessons, the first thing I would say to you is, if you really want to honor him, then take some of the things I'm sharing to heart and live out some of the values that Brian just talked about. Number one, live a life of service. It's interesting that Jesus said, if you want to be great, then serve. We talked to Marion, and she would say often, we had a great marriage, we had a great family. The boys say the same thing. Brian just said it about his dad, because it began with service. And we just celebrated military honors, which is a life of service. There's something that happens when you're willing